Cascade Beach Mysteries, The Ghost of Thunder Cave. Well, the setting was a sea village at night. Peaceful waves, everything all right. Our hero called Jim was ready to begin. Finished work at sunrise, giant breakfast was before his eyes. 3 days off while Uncle refits the ship. Pocket full of gold, gonna chill and paint and sip. No rippin' the sail, go home feed the cat. Won't pound deck nails, 3 days no whales. After my friends all milk their cows, we'll hit the beach, we've got our towels. Peaceful day at the beach, the sound of the waves in hollow caves. Yo, let's swim up to Thunder Rocks. My friend said yay, I threw my socks on the tail, said let's go now. They said it would be fun. Let's go check out the weird sea caves and get out of the sun. 7 caves of rock and ocean. Tides change the caves with their motion. I'm kinda scared, but I think I'm prepared to swim in the dim light, shafts of sunlight. Waves echo so loud when they hit the walls. Corals scrape my foot, freaked me out like monster claws. Here's where things got evil, running past the seawall. Evil level 3, not a good place to be. Here's the scary part, trigger warning, turn it off. Cascade Beach. The Ghost of Thunder Caves, a Cascade Beach story. Brought to you by 608 Comics. Cheap and awesome East Coast poetry comics. From 608 Comics. The Ghost of Thunder Cave, a Cascade Beach story. Cat Teresa, Ollie, Jim. A big hike and a long swim. To the entrance to 7 caves, blanketed by ocean waves. Waves of clouds and the sounds of the water and rocks so loud. I was scared to go in, but my fool's courage kicked in. We knew the tide was going out. We knew we could swim like a trout. Ollie got right in, and I was older, so I flip-doved right off a boulder. By the time we got to Cave 3, I was feeling great and a great place to be. We saw the cave door to Cave 4, thought we could do more. I heard the echo of the waves in the sea cave roar. Okay. Gotta save my courage now, up to Cave 5, wow. Getting hungry when we get home, you know I'm gonna chow down. Made it to Cave 6, swimming past logs turned to sticks. Shafts of sunlight don't need candle wicks. When I get back to the boardwalk, I'll get a Twix to use with my ice cream like a spoon and watch the setting moon. I'm so freaking scared and I'm unprepared. The tunnel to Cave 7, I should have bewared. Should not have gone there, stupid dare. Okay, this next part's written on September 11th, 2021. It's called The Sad Part, Death of a Friend. This is Act 1, Scene 3 in Cave 7. Cascade Beach, Thunder Caves, Tunnel to Cave 7. They were halfway across the sea tunnel. Suddenly the water drains out as if from a giant funnel. They looked at each other for a moment in dry confusion. Cat Teresa and Jim with scraped knee contusions. We're halfway there, the fresh air will be like heaven. He said okay and took a deep breath. He already knew and feared that they were facing death. He started swimming as fast as he could, but then he cut his foot on a piece of wood. Freaked out, turned about, smashed my head, couldn't shout. Went back to the tunnel, but it was filling up. Took a deep breath. I'll need a stitch on my dome fix. I swam right back out to Cave 6. Ollie yelled, "Where's Otter? Yo, look at those kicks." I said Tara's fine, she could make it to Cave 9. But I bloodied up my kicks, so I swam back here to 6. You know we have a 5-minute rule. Let's put seaweed on my head before I start to drool. We played best of 20 Rochambeau. By then our friend should be back, you know. We got to game 30, vision blurry, head hurty, getting scared, not prepared to try to swim in again to that cave with stale air. Wish I had a chair. Wish I hadn't taken this dare. Bucket list led to this. I shouldn't hear the wave foam hiss. Ollie shouted, "It's too early for the tide." Broke the silence, yelled, "Yo, Otter, let's ride!" They heard her voice. It was from the wrong directions. All three knew the caves, never heard of a loop connection. She yelled for help. They climbed the rock shelf. Saw her hand down a 20-foot hole. Jim screamed, "Rah, swim back! We hear the tides know!" Jim knew it was getting late. The air hole was gone. He'd even heard it once in an old pirate song. Jim grabbed Ollie's arm, whispered, "Get help now!" Jim shouted down to cheer up Thera, "Congratulations, you've discovered a new cave! Wow!" Thera said, "Jim, you've got to get my grandma's charm if I fail to swim or come to harm." Jim yelled, "Don't say that! Just swim back! Where you at?" "Please promise me, don't let it get lost at sea. Get the necklace from the cave to earn my grandma's forgiveness save." "Stop, please!" yelled Jim. She was scaring him. "Just swim back, okay? We'll come back to this cave another day." He saw her hand say thumbs up. He swam into the tunnel to see what's up. He stopped in the air spot, much smaller water spout. Jim got caught in the next wave fill, felt the ocean waters chill, got washed all the way out to Cave 5, spit out a gallon of water. Jim looked around, couldn't believe he was alive. The next thing he remembered, he was swimming so far out to sea, his mind terrified to see the end of his friend's chi. He couldn't see the shore no more. His mind was destroyed, his heart an empty core. Jim in terror swam an hour before even looking back. He stopped a minute, touched his head, and heard a giant crack. Concussion and shock of loss, a bitter combination, especially when you come from an island nation. Lost at sea with a bloody knee, trying to block out the sight he had had to see. Clouds came out, and the sea got rough. Jim was broken, puking, not looking tough. Sunny day, covered up by the clouds. Every wave crashes against his broken head so loud. Can't swim no more, thinking that he's toast, but then he thought he heard the voice of Thera's ghost. "Don't give up now, here's the deal. To help get the necklace, here's a pet seal." And a seal, Jim's spirit animal, appeared in the waves. He followed the seal up to an island as the sun just set. Across the channel, through the lagoon, he saw they'd be safe soon, but not yet. Safe on the beach, coconuts within reach. Jim ate 3, took a nap. He knew he was way off the map. And that seal taught him how to swim. He thought he knew already, but, sometimes we think we're an expert at something. And the seal taught him to swim all through the mangrove roots. That seal taught him to survive and dive, took Jim through real roots like tree boots. 2 days straight, the seal kept him up late, training him to dive real good. Seal just couldn't wait. Everything's gone 19, the best you've ever seen. By best, I mean the worstest. You know it ain't the firstest. Gather wool with the tool, guess my mama raised a fool. Blame it on my nursery school, I work like I'm a stubborn mule. Guess I'm okay on the sea, that's the place I ought to be. Lost out on the island, seal here with me. Get the necklace from the cave for the dead girl's ghost grandma. Lost at sea, out on Seal Island. Sunday night, one more night crying, ready to swim back. Seems like no one is searching for me. They must have thought I'm dead and washed out to sea. I think if I swam back and followed the sun, I'll get back to the caves. I can get the necklace and run. Back down to the town, I'll have time to lay around before the time for our voyage comes around. Mafio will say we gotta go. Oh no, better head back tonight. Swimming towards the setting sun, seal with me, just having fun. Take the necklace back to Thera's grandma, cry a million tears for getting closer to Thunder Caves, falling in the ocean, hearing all the waves. Jim and Seal flew right through a bombing speed run, got up to Cave 6 in the last light of the sun. Act 2, Scene 2, Side 2, Double Funeral. Okay. So when we last saw Ollie Friday noon, he had left for help too soon to see that Otter was gone forever. And Jim followed his pirate song, out to sea for me, out to sea for me. Ollie had got back in record time. They flew to the caves and set a tow line. They all broke down when they saw Otter, eyes open and lips were pale, skin blue as water. They took and declared that Jim was dead. Made the most sense. They didn't know about his busted head. No one had thought to search as far as Seal Island. Probably couldn't think straight, carrying Thera. They were all crying. 2 days later, headed to the town hall. Middle of the summer, but felt as cold as late fall. Sunday morning, there was a funeral. Ollie knew he'd want to start a duel. Big James always seems to mess with Ollie's head. Ollie was already red from something Big James had said. Ollie had overheard the rescue squad at the site yesterday. James said Ollie should have helped instead of run away. When Ollie saw James, his eyes filled with tears and steam poured out of his ears. James shifted up to the greeting line, said, "Sorry your bro's dead." Ollie whispered, "Don't patronize me. I heard what you said." James whined, "Oh, I was just joking when I dared them." Everything became clear in Ollie's head in an instant. Why everything was so weird about it. How, they were acting on a dare. That whole trip down to the caves. Ollie saw red as sadness rushed through his head. His friends tricked him. Now they were dead. 2 caskets. One of them empty. The good die young. You can't fight entropy. You can't fight the universe, but you can fight dumb bullies. Ollie saw a loose thread on James' suit and gave it a pulley. Ollie held the string as James walked away and thought of the old Weezer song from back in the day. It seemed like a good idea at first, a little prank. Worst day already. How could it get worse? Ollie tied the thread to the collection plate basket. Didn't expect James to trip and fall into the casket. The empty box for Jim was unbalanced already. The vicar reached out to try to hold it steady. Too late. Unbalanced, weight, tipped over fast already. Jim's knocked over the curtains and tipped Thera's coffin top. The lid kinda opened. The image won't stop. Being stuck in the heads of the woeful who saw. Thera's arm fell off, unwrapped from her paw. James knocked Ollie out with one single punch. The last thing Ollie heard was his nose bones go crunch. War soon erupted. I'm sure you've heard of Irish wakes. The town gets together to sing and have whiskey and tea cakes. The fight ended soon and the singing songs started again. I wish I could recall the old songs. I draw them all with my pen. One was about a pub on fire. They'd knock on guitars and shout, "McIntyre!" One was about a landlady's eyes wide with delight. And Tim's brother recited James Joyce on a bright moonlit night. The last one was about the sad funeral wake. We lose a huge part of our heart with the soul that death takes. I Can't take this no more. Ollie was thinking he had to get out of there. Try Thunder Caves. Thanks. Ollie sat on the boardwalk till dusk since noon, fell asleep as the sun sets. No was no felt. Let's spin it back like a dynamic Celt. Ollie with Otter's ghost on the beach. Rising moon seems close enough to reach. Jim at the cave entrance, ready to swim. Retrieve his friend's necklace from around the rock's rim. Cat Teresa's grandma was destroyed from the wake. Air pressure weather change lit up her ancient bone breaks. Storms a-comin', let's start running to higher ground. Hear the storm sound. Jim and Seal went into the cave, moonlit on the choppy waves. Disco ball effect like at the raves. Their faces lit up like gold. Grabbed the necklace, forgot about the cold. Water feeling shorter, water rising. Storm surge, bright light, moonlit skies in. They swam out of the caves, into the waves, back to the beach. Goodbye, Thunder Caves. Seal said goodbye, and Jim turned away. We'll see Seal again some other day. Jim started walking towards Otter's grandma's house when the wind suddenly got warm. In the fog, Jim saw a person's shape taking form. Ollie saw Jim's ghostly shape emerging from the fog. Ollie fainted, fell off the trail, and falled in towards the lily bog. Jim grabbed his arm, showed him the charm. Jim took Ollie home, bright moonlit lit up the boardwalk. They started sharing stories, laughed, cried, and talked. They saw a tree gnarled by a mouse and a well blocked by a toad. They started sharing stories, laughed, cried, and talked. Jim told Ollie good night and headed up the road. He saw the cliff across the bay, lights on at Otter's grandma's place. He marveled at 3 planets, the moon, and all the stars up in space. Suddenly he heard the watch bell ringing clear. He felt a chill, froze in his tracks, watched his moon shadow disappear. Storms a-comin', let's start running to higher ground, hear the storm sound. Mr. Charon yelled, "Get in! The storm's getting too bad!" They barely made it across the bay. They thought the waves would do us in. All of them knew about how the hurricane had taken Jim's dad back in the day. Jim was running up the hill to Thera's grandma's house. Got to get her back across on the ferry before the waves doth douse. He opened the door into the house. Grandmother was yelling and crying at the death of her heart. She seemed to be searching for something. She was tearing the house apart. She said, "I've lost my family and now my first grandchild. Forgive me if I seem a little wild. I just need to find my grandma's necklace before I lose my mind." Jim stepped into the light. Grandma dropped her toast. She had just opened the door for a dead boy's ghost. Jim gave her the necklace and swore he was fine, but we won't be for long if we don't catch the ferry in time. They met their friends at the town hall, rode out the storm till the watchman's call. The church bells rang, and the people sang, and the tears for the lost ghosts stang. Sunrise, new day, peaceful seacoast town. Jim walked down towards the docks to have a look around. The Ghost of Thunder Cave, Cascade Beach Stories.